Okay, I'd like to call this a special call meeting today for the Town of Newmarket Council for Monday, April the 4th to order. Ms. Laura, if you'll go ahead and take roll call.
Here.
Here.
Yes. Yes, here.
Here.
We do have quorum. So with that, Todd, if I can just proceed right to you and let you do a presentation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
As you are aware, tonight's public hearing is due to our tax rate for our real estate. What happens is when you have a reassessment year like we just had or the county had, if that increase raises your revenue, I guess, by more than, well, it's 101%, so 1%. If you want to keep your rate where it was, or if you want to take it, if you want to keep it where it is, there, that is basically viewed as a tax increase. So what I'm going to do is I put some numbers together, trying to answer some questions you may have. But if I miss something, I'll try to answer it, or Teresa's here and we'll try to answer it. If I can get this to go. Okay. Okay, so our total assessment increase, the total assessed value of real property, excluding additional assessments due to new construction or improvements to property, exceeds last year's total assessed value of real property by 23%. The lowered rate necessary to offset the increase of the assessment, the tax rate, which would levy the same amount that real estate taxes last year, when multiplied by the new total assessed value of real estate with the exclusion mentioned above, would be 0.1139. So your rate would be 0.1139 for $100 of assessed value, and that would give you your lower tax rate, but that would keep us neutral. That would keep you your revenue stream the same. If you keep it where it is today, which is 0.14 cent, which would be your effective rate increase, we would adopt it at 14 cents per $100 of assessed value. The difference between the lower tax rate and the proposed rate would be 0.0261 cent per 100, or 23%. And this will be known as your effective tax rate increase. I've given you some comparisons here. I've started, and these are just even numbers, just easy for me to calculate, and hopefully everybody can understand. So a $100,000 property value, if you took it back, it would be $113.90. If you keep it at 0.14, it would be $140. So there would be an increase of $26.10. On a $200,000 property, you see if you drop it back, you're at $227.80. If you keep it at the 0.14, you're at $280. So that's a $52.20 increase. 300,000, you're at $341.70, and at 14 cents, you're at $420, $78.30. 400,000, you're at $455.60. Leave it the same, you're at $560. That's $104.40 increase for the taxpayer. 500,000, you see the numbers, $569.50 versus $700, $130.50 difference. 600,000. Now I will say I tried to look to see, okay, where's the stopping point with our values as far as how many houses we have at 600,000. There is actually a couple. For you, let me say that. So if we drop it back, it'd be 683.40. If you kept it where it is today, it would be at 840 for $156.66. 700,000, 797.30 versus 980. You're at 182.7. 800,000, 911.20, 11.20, so a difference of 208.8. Then I've gave you some larger numbers just due to the fact that some of your commercial properties, some of those values are $1 million or maybe more. At $1 million range, you're looking at 1139 and 1400, the difference of 261. And then $3 million, I just tried to pick a hotel or something and come up with that number. You're looking at 3417 versus 4200, so there's $783.83 difference once you get up to the $3 million. So considerations. The rate increase by adopting the current 14 cent per 100, that will generate $55,000 in additional revenue to the town's general fund. The additional revenue, though, will help recover the revenue loss we're going to have when Primus Bank closes in May of 2022. They pay a bank franchise tax to us every year, and this year, the current year we're in, we normally get this in June, their payment will be $39,521. When they close, that money's gone, unless another bank comes around with the same amount of deposits, we've lost $39,521. Also, we have to remember, we have a community center property that we now own. We're going to have ongoing expenses there to the general fund, operating expenses, personnel costs, and then if we get into a rehabilitation of the building, somehow we're going to have to pay for that. If that's going to be a loan or whatever. So that's something else we will have. And I've just tossed in a couple. Another thing to consider, inflation is accelerated to 7.9 in March. The CPI year on year was 7.9 also. So that's going to add additional pressure to our general fund. As we've already experienced, the price escalation and the lack of supply of items will most likely continue for the foreseeable future. Additionally, the capital projects that we currently have scheduled to begin, I say next year, this next fiscal year. I mean, those cost escalation, the lack of labor, that's going to impact the price of each one of those projects. And I did put in there that right now it's not uncommon for these other projects that I've talked to people, they're coming in 150 to 200% below the initial cost estimate. So I realize you're having to consider technically a tax increase, but that 55,000 by losing the bank, you really only have about 15,000, 16,000 extra that you're really going to generate in your revenue. Any questions?
Thanks for breaking that down that way. It makes it a little more real.
Yeah, a little more. Thought it was easier to visualize what I'm doing.
Any other questions, council? No? Okay, thanks, Todd. So at this point, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Todd, looking here at no physical bodies here, but anything coming through the email or anything?
No, sir. I didn't
Okay.
receive anything.
So as I look here, I would say to go ahead and close it.
Yep.
So with that, I will go ahead and close the public hearing on this. And at this time, of course, council, we can't do anything as far as vote or anything tonight. So with that, Todd, unless you have something else you want to add.
No, just that we will have we'll have a special meeting next Monday. That would give you an opportunity to set the tax rate. So that meeting will be next Monday at 6:30 also.
Okay. And so having nothing else on the agenda for tonight, I will entertain a motion to close this meeting.
So motion.
Do you have a A motion and a second. And if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? This meeting is adjourned.